Dear students, so in this lecture, we are going to study the basics and the advanced concepts of algebra. So let me tell you first things first. So this topic, or specifically speaking about algebra, so this is one of the trickiest portions that quantitative aptitude is made up of. So in this entire sections or in this entire domain, you are required or the student is expected to remember certain sets of formulas which are also known as identities and their applications. So unless you are thorough with the understanding of these identities or these formulas and also clear with when and where to apply them, so you would find things a bit tricky, a bit on a difficult side. So you need to be in regular practice. You need to practice lots and lots when it comes to algebra. It's not a one day thing that it's like you have to be in practice, you have to be in regular touch with algebra. That may not be the case with other parts of quantitative aptitude, but this is a must for algebra. So now let's begin today's lecture. So let us understand that what are those formulas that we are talking about that one must necessarily be knowing. So let's take a step into the world of algebra. So let's begin now. So first thing that one must be knowing, in algebra is the identities. So what is an identity? So identity is like a formula which involves certain variables. So the speciality about identity is it is true for any variable. So it is independent actually of variables. So it is actually a formula which holds true for all the variables involved in that formula. It actually does not depend on what the value of the variable is. So to begin with, we need to understand what those identities are. So let's first and foremost see the second degree identities. By second degree, I mean that the power of the formula or the identity is not greater than 2, as you can see here. So these are certain second degree identities that one must be knowing before proceeding any further. So I would insist that you pause this video, have a good look at these formulas. Most of these formulas are already familiar to you because you have been studying this since your class 6th or 7th. So most of the formulas would be familiar, but I'd like to highlight this formula before you. This is a very important formula when it comes to competitive exams. So this formula finds wide application in framing of questions. Okay, this one and this one as well. So these two formulas might come as new to some of you. So I would insist that you pause, you first remember, you first by heart this formula before moving any further, because algebra is all about learning these formulas and applying them whenever and wherever necessary. So unless you are thorough, you have a good memory, good recollection value of these formulas, so there is no point in moving any further. So I hope you will do that. You will remember all these formulas. Only then will you proceed. Okay, then I hope that you must have learned this formula. So now let's proceed further to understand how to apply and when to apply this formula. So let's move on. So the first question before us is, given that 10 to the power 0.48 is equal to x and 10 to the power 0.70 is equal to y, and it is also given that x to the power z is equal to y square, then the value of z is closest to. So you see what is being told to us. It is being told to us that x to the power z. So this is what is given already, and based on this we are asked to find the value of z. So now what is x? X can be written as 10 to the power 0.48. So 10 to the power 0.48 whole to the power z is given to us as equal to y square. Now what is y equal to? So y is equal to 10.070. Now since we are talking about y square, so this whole squared. So now you can see both the bases are same. 10 raised to something on right hand side, 10 raised to something on left hand side. So it becomes pretty easy. So this can be written as 10 raised to 0.48 into z, and this can be written as 10 raised to 0.70 into 2. So from here you can easily infer that 0.48 into z must be equal to 0.70 into 2, because the base is same in both the cases. So from here you can see that z can be written as 0.70 into 2 upon 0.48. Okay, so this will come out to be 0.20. So we will 35 upon, so comes out to be very near to 2.91. So C is the correct answer. Now let's move further. The term to be added to this expression to make it a perfect square. So the idea behind such questions is that the expression is an incomplete square. So what should you add, to make it the expression that can be expressed in terms of something square. So let us see what is already given to us. So 121a square plus 64b square. So there lies a big hint that we have to somehow complete. See, a square plus b square is already given to us as how 121a square can also be written as 11a whole square. Similarly, 64b square can also be written as 8b whole square. Now, this has already taken the shape of a square plus b square, but something is missing. What is that missing part which when added will give it the square format, will give it the standard square format, which will be either equal to a plus b whole square or a minus b whole square. So what should be added to? We already have, the format is already prepared, a square plus b square. What is missing actually is 2 times ab. So here the role of a is actually equal to, or let's call it x and y. So x square plus y square is already given to us. So we simply need to add another 2xy to it, so that it now takes the shape of a squared expression. It becomes x plus y whole square. Then I would be able to conclude that yes, it is a perfect square. So this is the real meaning of the question. So we already have a x square plus y square. We simply need to add 2 times xy to make it a perfect square. So what would that actually be? So we need to further add 2 times of 2 into 11a into 8b. So we actually need to add 2 into 11, 22. So 22 into 8 is 176 ab. So this needs to be added. Unless you add that, it's not going to take the shape a plus b whole square. So now let's move further. Similar question. The term that should be added to this. Now first let us see that what actually is given to us. So 4x square plus 8x is already given. So there is a big hint. 4x square can also be written as 2x whole square. That means a square is provided to us. Now 8x can be written as what? It can be written as, see, you will manage to form a square if you come up with an expression something like this, either a square plus 2ab plus b square or a square minus 2ab plus b square. So as you can see, this is more likely to take this format, a square plus 2ab plus b square, because 2ab is involved here, plus positive 2ab is being used here. So 2x whole square, so 2 into 2x, so still it is like 4x only, but here it is 8x. So another 2 has to be multiplied with it. Now this is what is given to us. 2x square, that means 4x square, plus 2ab, that means 2 into 2x into 2, that is actually equal to 8x. This is given to us. That means it is given to us a square plus 2 into a into b is already given to us. But this is not a complete square. This is not yet a perfect square. What should we add to this? See, b square is missing. So unless you add b square, it's not going to become a perfect square. So b square is missing. The missing part is b square. So what is playing the role of b here? So this is playing the role of a. So this is a and this is b. So missing part is b square or 2 square. So 2 square is 4. So unless you add 4 to it, it's not going to become a perfect square. So this is the answer. Now let's move further. Again a similar question. So for what values of k the expression, this given expression is a perfect square. Now you see, what is actually given to us is p plus 1 by 4 plus root p plus k square. Now what can this be written as? P can be written as root p whole square. This 1 by 4 can be written as, we will see to it, but this root p can be written as 2 into half. Why? Because if you write 2 to cancel it, you will have to write the reciprocal as well. So root p can be written as 2 into half into root p. Now this 1 by 4 can be written as half whole square, and then this k square. Now if you see, if root p is assumed to be a and this is assumed to be b, what is already given to us is a square plus 2ab plus b square and then this k square. Now this thing is already a perfect square. This is already a perfect square. That means this should have value 0, because if it is anything apart from 0, this will disturb the perfect square. So this has to be equal to 0. So if k square is equal to 0, it means k must also be equal to 0. So this is the correct answer. Now let's move further. Same concept. For what values of a is this given expression a perfect square? So first of all, we'll have to understand that what is already provided to us. So it is already given that x plus 1 by 4 into root x plus a square. This is the expression that is given to us. Let's try to bring it in the format of either a square plus 2ab plus b square or a square minus 2ab plus b square format. Only these two formats will help you to conclude that the expression is a perfect square or not. So let's do that. So x can be written as root x whole square. Now as soon as you have figured this out, you should concentrate on this portion. So now it is very likely that it is going to take the shape of a square plus 2ab plus b square rather than a square minus 2ab. So this looks more likely here. So x can be written as root x whole square. So 1 by 4x. So let's bring it in that shape. So you have disturbed it. It was actually root x by 4, but to bring it in desired format, you have to involve this 2. So now what to do? You'll have to multiply by 1 by 2. So this can be written as 1 by 8 to actually keep it 1 by 4. So now root x, if root x is considered to be p and 1 by 8 is considered to be q, what is already given to us is p square plus 2pq plus a square. So this will become a perfect square only when a square is actually equal to q square. That means if this thing is actually 1 by 8 whole square, only then will it become a perfect square, as you can see from the pattern. So a square, so for what value of a? So it means a square must be equal to 1 by 64. So from here you can conclude that a must be equal to square root of 1 by 64. So plus minus both are acceptable. both are acceptable or both are not acceptable. In fact, both are acceptable, but here only one option is given. See, though both are acceptable, but since here it is taking the format of 1 by 8, that's why they have not given the second option. So only 1 by 8 will be the correct answer. Now similar question here. So let's not waste time. Let's arrange this as it is. X square plus 1 by 5x plus a square. Let's try to rewrite this. So this can be rewritten as x square can be rewritten as root x whole square. Now I will try to give this the shape of 2ab. So I would write this as 2 into root x into what? What should I now write to keep it like 1 by 5x only? So 1 by 10. So this again is a very similar question, almost along the same lines. So now let's see how quickly are we able to solve this. So what is actually given to us? So this is what is already given to us. So let's rewrite this. So x square can be written as x whole square. Now there is a big hint that you have already chosen your first term. You have already chosen, if you want to give it this shape. So you have already chosen what is p. P is equal to x. So now you'll have to give shape to the remaining terms so that they can acquire this perfect square format. So let's do that. So 1 by 5x should be written carefully. So 2 into x, so to give it the format 2ab, middle term. So 2 into x into what? Actually what is given is x by 5, but you are doing this for the sake of convenience to give it the proper format. So what should now be written? 1 by 10, so that 2 when multiplied by 1 by 10 gives you back the old 1 by 5 plus a square. So it is very clear that you have chosen p to be equal to x, and this is b, the second term. So what is second term? It is actually 1 by 10. So what should be a square be equal to? So a square, or a, as is very evident, must be equal to 1 by 10 only. You have not to take plus minus 10. Be very careful, because if you take here minus 10, then it will go of the format p square minus 2pq plus q square. So if you take 1 by 10, then you are actually trying to make it p plus q whole square. If you take it like minus 1 by 10, that means you are trying to give it this shape p minus q whole square. Both are acceptable actually. If you try to put here minus 1 by 10 as well, it works. Because if you put here minus, it then takes p minus q whole square format. So answer will actually be plus minus both, giving two different formats, p plus q whole square or p minus q whole square. Now let's move further. Now let's see this. So if x is equal to this, y is equal to this, z is equal to this, then find the value of this expression. Now look carefully what is actually given to us. It is given to us that x square plus y square, you rearrange this 2xy. It is a very big hint that this 2xy is given to you so that you can complete the square. So this is what is given to us. This is what we are actually supposed to calculate. So now x square plus y square plus 2xy can also be written as, this portion can be written as x plus y whole square, and leave this as it is. So now this takes the form a square minus b square. So that a square minus b square is actually a plus b into a minus b. You already know that. So this can be written as x plus y plus z into x plus y minus z. So this is actually what you are being asked to calculate. So now let's do that. So x is equal to, now you can substitute the values. So x is equal to b plus c minus 2a, y is equal to c plus a minus 2b, and z is equal to a plus b minus 2c. This multiplied by x plus y minus z, x plus y minus z. I will not do this because I have already noticed something. What have I already noticed? There's all these terms add up to 0. So final answer has got to be 0. So why to take pain of substituting this? Let's see. So b, all these terms cancel out. B plus b, 2b minus 2b, these terms cancelled out. Similarly, c plus c, 2c and 2c cancel out. So it is actually 0 into something. So why should I bother about what that something is? It is 0 into something. Ultimately the answer has to be equal to 0. So this is the correct answer. So let's move further. So now let's see what this is. So x cube plus y to the power 6 multiplied by x cube minus y to the power 6. So it is actually of the format a plus b into a minus b. So where a can be said to be equal to a cube and b can be said to be equal to y to the power 6. So is it not of the given format a plus b into a minus b? Yes, it is. So this can be written as a square minus b square. So this is actually equal to x cube whole square minus y to the power 6 whole square. So this is ultimately equal to x to the power 6 minus y to the power 12. Pretty simple. This is the correct answer. So now let's move further. Okay, these type of questions are very common. These are known as simplification problems, but these are actually based on the application of algebraic identities. So let's see how to go about solving these questions. So you would be given these kind of decimal including numerical values, and then you would be asked to simplify this. But you don't have to get into actual calculations. You have to basically transform this into certain algebraic identities, and based on that you can cancel out a few terms. So let's see how can that be done. So if 2.697 is assumed to be equal to a and 0.498 is assumed to be equal to b, then please understand what is actually being given. It is given to us that the expression then transforms into a minus b whole square plus a plus b whole square, because simply 2.697 has to be substituted by a and 0.498 has to be substituted by b. So the given expression will take this form. Now you can use the property of algebraic identities. A minus b whole square plus a plus b whole square can be written as 2 times of a square plus b square. This divided by a square plus b square. So a square and b square, they'll cancel each other out and the answer will be 2. So you see, these numbers actually did not help you to calculate the final answer. These numbers could have been anything, because ultimately a square and plus b square, they got cancelled. So please be careful, you are not actually meant to calculate this. These are meant so that you can somehow transform these into algebraic identities and then cancel out a few terms. So now let's move further. Let's see this one. Okay, so the given expression, this is a plus b into a minus b, and this also like a minus b into a plus b form. So I'll quickly transform this. Multiplying first two terms, this can be written as x square minus 1 upon x square, and multiplying last two terms, so this would become x square plus 1 by x square whole square minus 1. So now let's open this up. So this is actually x square minus 1 upon x square whole multiplied by x square. Whole square would be what? X to the power 4 plus 2 times of x square into 1 by x square 2ab plus 1 by x to the power 4 minus 1. Now you see, this x square cancel each other out. So this is ultimately x square minus 1 upon x square into x to the power 4 plus 1 by x to the power 4 plus 1. Now let's see how to solve this further. So if you multiply both these expressions, term by term, what does it come out to be? X square into x to the power 4. That means x to the power 6, x square multiplied by 1 by x to the power. This when multiplied by this will give you plus 1 by x square plus x square. Now multiplying minus 1 by x square term by term. So minus x square minus 1 by x to the power 6 and minus 1 by x square. So as you can see, a few terms cancel each other out. So ultimately you are left with x to the power 6 minus 1 upon x to the power 6. So this is the final answer. So now let's move further. So these are again are a very common pattern of questions. So a plus b is given, ab is given, and then we are asked to calculate a upon b plus b upon a. So let's see what are we actually being asked to calculate. So a by b plus b by a, this can be written as a square plus b square. So this, see you only know the values of a plus b and ab. That means whatever you are being asked to calculate, you have to express that in terms of either a plus b or ab. But here we are using a square plus b square, so that won't help us solve this unless all the terms are in the entire expression in terms of a plus b and ab. You won't be able to solve this. So we are stuck now. So we have to transform this. If you transform this further, a square plus b square can be written as a plus b whole square minus 2ab whole divided by ab. Okay. So now you have the things given in proper format. Now you can solve this. So now let's solve this, what it actually comes out to be. So this comes out to be a plus b whole square. That means 180 whole square minus 2ab. So 2ab is equal to 144 divided by ab is 72. So let's solve this. So 180 into 180 divided by 72 minus 144 by 72 is what? It's 2. So what this actually comes out to be equal to? So 18 fours are, so 10 by 4, so 45. So 450 minus 2, 448 is the final answer. So now let's move further. Again similar question. So p square plus q square, you are asked to calculate p square plus q square. So you have to express this entirely in terms of p plus q and pq. So p square plus q square can also be written as p plus q whole square minus 2pq. So let's do that. Let's solve this. So p plus q is 21. So this is actually equal to 21 square minus 2 times of 30. So 21 square is 441. So 441 minus 60 comes out to be 381. So now let's move further. Again same question. A square plus b square is equal to 5ab. Then we have to find the value of this expression. So let's see what we are actually being asked to calculate. So this is what we are being asked to calculate. So let's do this. So this can be written as a to the power 4 plus b to the power 4 upon a square b square. So now this can also be written as a square plus b square whole square minus 2a square b square a divided by a square b square. So now you see, what can this be written as? A square plus b square is given to us as equal to 5ab. So this is actually 5ab whole square minus 2a square b square whole divided by a square b square. So this comes out to be, a square b square is common and it can be cancelled. So 5 square, 25 minus 2 divided by 1. So final answer is 23. Let's move further. So a square plus b square is given to us as equal to 2 and c square plus d square is given to us as equal to 1. Then the value of this expression. Okay, fine. Let's see what are we actually being asked to calculate. So AD minus BC whole square plus AC plus BD whole square. So what this actually comes out to be, this is what we have to calculate. So let's see what this actually is equal to. So this is equal to A square D square plus B square C square minus, see, minus 2AB. So minus 2ABCD. So this is the expansion of first square. So now let's expand the second one. So A square C square plus B square D square plus 2ABCD. Now you see, plus 2ABCD and minus 2ABCD, they cancel each other out, and you are left with A square D square plus A square C square plus B square C square plus B square D square. Now you see, you can take A square common in first two terms. So if you take A square common, you are left with what? D square plus C square, or C square plus D square, same thing. For the third and fourth term, you can take B square as common. So you will get again C square plus D square. So this can actually be written as A square plus B square into C square plus D square. So what you have been asked to calculate is actually this. So now you very well know the values for A square and B square is already given to us as equal to 2, and C square plus D square is also given to us as equal to 1. So the final answer will be equal to 2 into 1, which is equal to 2. So this is the final answer. So now let's move further. So x is given as a plus 1 upon a, and y is given as a minus 1 upon a, and we have been asked to calculate the value of x to the power 4, fourth power. But you see, don't worry, power may be higher, but the basic, you have to almost stick to like second degree and third degree equation. Even if the powers are higher than that, then you have to understand it is given, it is for granted that you will have to do something to reduce or transform into the lower degree identities. So how? So let us see. We are being asked to calculate this expression. If you see carefully, this can be written as x square whole square plus y square whole square minus 2 into x square y square. So this has actually taken the format a square plus b square minus 2ab, which can also be written as a minus b whole square. So this has already taken that format. So now you can easily say that this is nothing but equal to x square minus y square whole square, isn't it? So now let's see. So x square minus y square whole square can also be written as, now this is a plus b into a minus b kind of. So x plus y into x minus y whole square. So now let's substitute. Now let's see what is x plus y. So x plus y is actually equal to 2a. 2a. Now what is x minus y? So x minus y is 2 upon a. So this whole square. So this a and this a cancels. So this is actually 4 square, comes out to be equal to 16. So how? So see, you can avoid doing small calculation. You can do them manually, because you see x plus y. So if you add mentally, so this 1 upon a and this minus 1 upon a gets cancelled. So x plus y is actually equal to 2a. Similarly, x minus y. So this a and this a will get cancelled, and 1 by a plus 1 by a comes out to be 2 upon a. So now let's move to the next one. So a minus b is given to us as equal to 11, and ab is given to us as equal to 24, and we have to calculate a square plus b square. So let's do that. So somehow you will have to express this thing in terms of a minus b and ab. So how can we do that? A square plus b square can be written as a minus b whole square. What shall we write? Because you know that a minus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square minus 2ab. So to remove this, you'll have to add 2ab. So this is what we have to do, a square plus b square. Now we already know the value of a minus b. A minus b is equal to 11 square. So 11 square plus 2ab. So 2 into 24. So this comes out to be 11 square is what? 121 plus 2 into 24 is what? 48. So this comes out to be 169. So this is the answer, correct answer. So now let's move further. So again, if you see properly, so you are given two expression. One of them is of fourth degree. It includes powers like a to the power 4, and the other is like a second degree equation. So based on this, we are supposed to find out the value of ab. So let's see how can we do that. So now let's see. So as I already told you that algebra is all about practicing. So you'll have to practice more and more. So by practicing and while practicing, you have to keep in mind that you need to expose yourself to newer and newer questions. That means the more different varieties of questions that you come across, the more likely it is, that you encounter that question once again. So let's see. So how to solve this one? So a to the power 4 plus a square b square plus b to the power 4 is given to us as equal to 8, and a square plus ab plus b square is given to us as equal to 4, and we are asked to calculate the value of ab. Now there is a big hint. So here it is a to the power 4 and here it is a square. That means somehow you have to do something, transform something here and then square it. So from a square you have to reach to a to the power 4. That is possible only by squaring. So there is a big hint. So we take advantage of that hint. So you can write from here, you can conclude that a square plus b square is equal to 4 minus ab. Isn't it? So now squaring both sides. So you square this side as well as this side, and let's see what it comes out to be. So this is a to the power 4 plus b to the power 4 plus 2a square b square, and this side when squared will be equal to 4 square, that means 16, plus ab whole square, that means a square b square, minus 2 into 4 into ab. So this means a to the power 4 plus b to the power 4 plus 2a square b square is actually equal to 16 plus a square b square minus 8ab. So now we already know. So now you see this a square b square and this will cancel each other out. So it will be a to the power 4 plus b to the power 4 plus a square b square is actually equal to 16 minus 8ab. So we already know what is the value of this one. It is given to us. This is actually equal to 8. So we can say that 8 is equal to 16 minus 8ab. So from here you can conclude that 8ab is equal to 16 minus 8, which is equal to 8. So from here you can infer that ab is equal to 1. So 1 is the correct answer. So this was type 1. Type 1 means based on the property of algebraic identities of second order. That means only squaring, a plus b square, a minus b square and all that stuff. So there are several other identities as well, several other concepts that you need to take care of, that you need to understand. So this was type 1 questions. Now let's move to the next type of questions. And for next type, or in fact for each type of questions, you need to know the underlying concept, hidden concepts. So now it's time to move to the next concept. So let's do it. So students, this is a very powerful concept used to frame questions. So what does this concept tells us? It tells us that if sum of squares of a few terms is 0, then each of those terms must individually be 0. So what actually is it trying to tell us? You see, as you already know that the square of any real number, or for that matter any uh, real number, can never be negative. So if somebody tells you that a square plus b square is equal to 0, then how and when is it possible? Because you know that any square term cannot be negative. So you mean to say that two non-negative terms, that means sum of two non-negative terms is equal to 0. That can be possible only when each of them is individually equal to 0. Because the only possibility is either it is 0 or it is positive. So if a few terms add up to 0 and none of them are negative, if I say that I added 4 numbers and the sum is 0 and none of the numbers is negative, that means the only possibility is all of them are 0. Only then it is possible. So this concept is actually trying to say us that very thing in terms of square, that if you are adding a few square terms and it is given out to be 0, it is possible only when each of them is individually equal to 0. Okay, so now let's see what kind of questions have been asked based on this and what is the application. So let's do that. Okay, now let's see this one. So it is given that 3a plus 1 whole square plus b minus 1 whole square plus 2c minus 3 whole square is equal to 0. It is given. So you see that sum of 3 square is given and it still is equal to 0. It can be possible only when each of the term is equal to 0. That means it is 0 square plus 0 square plus 0 square. Only then will it be possible. So what does this mean? It means that 3a plus 1 must be equal to 0. Similarly, b minus 1 must be equal to 0 and 2c minus 3 must be equal to 0. So from here you can conclude that a must be equal to minus 1 by 3, b must be equal to 1 and c must be equal to 3 by 2. So now let's see what have we been asked to calculate. We have been asked to calculate the value of 3a. So 3 times of a is what? Minus 1 by 3. So this is 3a plus b is what? 1 plus 2c. So 2 times of c is what? 3 by 2. So now let's see what is the final answer. So final answer is minus 1 plus 1 plus 3. So the correct answer is 3. This is the final answer. So now let's move further. Again same, sum of 3 squared term is given to us as equal to 0. So from here you can conclude that a minus 3 must be equal to 0. Similarly, b minus 4 must be equal to 0 and c minus 9 must also be equal to 0. So from here it is very evident that a must be equal to 3, b must be equal to 4 and c must be equal to 9. So now what are you being asked to calculate? You are being asked to calculate the value of root under a plus b plus c. So let's do that. So 3 plus 4 7, 7 plus 9 16. So this is actually root under 16, which is actually equal to plus minus 4. So this is the correct answer. All these questions that you see before you that we are discussing are actually taken from real question papers. So you can see, if you know the concepts, if you know these concepts well, it hardly takes a minute. In worst case you require a minute to solve such questions. So as I already told you, you have to be in practice, because if you are not into practice, you will not be able to figure out that which application or which concept has to be used in which type of questions. That's why we have designed this lecture in such a way that we have broken the entire syllabus, the entire vast topic algebra, into patterns, and we first study one pattern, one concept and all the questions associated with that pattern to make things easier for you. So I hope you take proper advantage of this fact. So you also go through these videos in sequential order. Do not skip things. So now let's move to the next one. So again, let's see what this question is all about. So x square plus y square plus 1 is given to us as equal to 2x, and based on this we are asked to calculate the value of x to the power 3 plus y to the power 4. So you see, it looks such a difficult question in first viewing. To a novice, to a beginner, he might get confused that which way to take. He might not be able to realize immediately that which concept will come to his rescue. But if you are into practice, you will immediately realize that it has got something to do with squaring properties. How? Because x square plus y square, if you bring minus 2x here, it takes the form of a proper square. It starts taking that format. This is what I was talking about. So now this completes the square. So this can now be written as x minus y whole square. So x minus y whole square plus 1 is given to us as equal to 0. So how is this possible? Let's see. This is again a very good question. So to a beginner, it might appear to be a very difficult question. He might not even have the idea how to begin with, which concepts to use. But to a student who is in practice, he will immediately realize something. What will he realize and what should he realize? Look at here, 2x. If you bring 2x this side, so it will help completing the square. So this can now be written as x square minus 2x plus 1 plus y square is equal to 0 if you bring this 2x to this side. So there is a big hint. It helps you to complete the square. So now this can be written as x minus 1 whole square. So this is actually x minus 1 whole square plus y square, which is given to us as equal to 0. So again you notice that the sum of two squared terms is coming out to be equal to 0, which is possible only when each of them is equal to 0. So it means x minus 1 must be equal to 0 and y must also be equal to 0. So from here you can conclude that x must be equal to 1 and y must be equal to 0. Now what are we being asked to calculate? We are being asked to calculate the value of x cube plus y to the power 5. So now this is nothing but 1 cube plus 0 to the power 5, can be written as 1 plus 0, which is equal to 1. Now let's move further. See, x square plus y square minus 4x minus 4y plus 8. So if you are into practice, you will immediately realize that you need to rearrange these terms so as to complete the squares. So let's see how can we do that. So this is what is given to us. Okay, so x square, so this is actually equal to x square minus 2 into x plus y square minus 2 into y plus 8. This is what is given to us. Now you see, to complete the square, if you break this 8 and into two components of 4 and 4 and add them here, so this completes one square and this would complete the second one. Why? Because 4 is 2 square. So this is what is given to us. So this is x minus 2 whole square and this is y minus 2 whole square, which is given to us as equal to 0. So from here it is very clear that sum of two square terms is coming out to be 0, which is possible only when both of them are 0 individually. So from here what can we conclude? We can conclude that x is equal to 2 and y is also equal to 2. Therefore x minus y is equal to 0. So let's move to next one. So x square plus y square minus 2x plus 6y plus 10 is equal to 0. So again a big hint. You have to complete the square. So let's rewrite. So you see, this square has to be completed, this square has to be completed with the help of this. That is the concept, underlying concept behind these questions. How can you do that? x square minus 2x. Break this 10 into two parts, 1 and 9. Why? Because there is a big hint here. Here 3 is involved, 2ab, and here 1 is involved. So this can be written as this. Now these squares are complete. So this can now be written as x minus 1 whole square, and this can be written as y plus 3 whole square. Now this whole thing is given to us as equal to 0. So from here you can safely conclude that x minus 1 must be equal to 0, which means that x must be equal to 1. Similarly, y plus 3 must be equal to 0, which indicates that y must be equal to minus 3. So now let's see what we have been asked to calculate. We have been asked to calculate x square plus y square. So let's do that. 1 square plus minus 3 whole square. So what does it comes out to be? So it comes out to be 1 plus 9 equal to 10. So 10 is the correct answer. Now let's move further. So a square plus b square plus 1 upon a square plus 1 upon b square is equal to 4. Then we have to find the value of a square plus b square. So let's see. So it is actually given to us that a square, if you bring 4 this side, so you break 4 into two components. Okay, so those two components, a square plus 1 upon a square. So if 4 comes this side, it will become negative. So minus 2 plus b square plus 1 by b square minus 2 is equal to 0. So this is what is given to us as. So this can be written as a minus 1 by a whole square, this thing. And this thing, 2 squares will be completed. Similarly, this can be written as b minus 1 by b whole square. Now this is given to us as equal to 0. So from here you can conclude that a minus 1 by a must be equal to 0, which means that a square must be equal to 1. From here you can conclude that b minus 1 by b is equal to 0, which means b square must be equal to 1. Therefore a square plus b square comes out to be equal to 1 plus 1. So the final answer is 2. So now let's move. So this was the second pattern of questions. So up till now we have seen two patterns and the applications of those patterns or the types of questions that have been asked based on that pattern. So now let's move further. Now let's move to the next pattern of questions. So students, this is a very commonly used concept. So but the problem is that many of the students don't even know about this concept. So if they see it for the first time or the question related to this for the first time in the competitive exams, it becomes really difficult for them. But we have broken the entire syllabus into the concepts. So here is the next concept that you must be knowing. So a plus b plus c whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus c square plus 2ab plus 2bc plus 2ca. You know this. Now this can be rephrased. This can be rephrased in this format. So this has to be highlighted before a student so that the next time the question is based on such a concept, you must be aware that this can also be written in this way. Similarly, this is also a very strong fact that one must know. A square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca can be written in this format. Okay, so from here you can conclude that if in a question this information is conveyed to you, that a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ac is equal to 0, it is being indirectly told to you that a is equal to b is equal to c. What I am trying to say is that this will be given and you have to infer or you have to conclude this. So these are indirect ways of telling you some piece of information. So remember these three facts before we proceed to next pattern of questions, that a plus b plus c whole square can be written in this format as well. Similarly, a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca can be written in this way. And if at all it is given to us that a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ac is equal to 0, we can safely conclude that a is equal to b is equal to c. So I'm not getting into the proof. So now let's move further. Let's see how to apply these questions, what kind of questions have been asked on this format. So let's see the first one. So now see, x is 2015, y is equal to 2016 and z is equal to 2017, and we are asked to calculate the value of x square plus y square plus z square and so on and so forth. So how can you do that? This, as we just now saw, can be written in this format, isn't it? This is the same thing that we have been asked to find. So this can be written as half of what? X minus y whole square plus y minus z whole square plus z minus x whole square. So now what will this come out to be? Half of, what is x? 2015. What is y? 2016. So x minus y is what? 1. So 1 square. Similarly, sorry, minus 1 whole square. Similarly, y minus z will also be equal to minus 1. So minus 1 whole square plus z minus x. What will be z? Z is 2017 and x is equal to 2015. So z minus x will be equal to 2. So plus of 2 square. So this is actually equal to half of minus 1 whole square is 1. Minus 1 whole square again 1. And 2 square is what? 4. So half of 6. So answer comes out to be 3. So this is the correct answer. Now let's move further. Again, almost same. In fact, it is just the same. So this can be written as, this is what we have been asked to calculate. So this can now be written as half of x minus y whole square plus y minus z whole square plus z minus x whole square. So let's do that. Half of, now x minus y, again minus 1. So minus 1 whole square plus, what is y minus z? Y minus z is again minus 1 whole square plus z minus x, same. So this also comes out to be half of 1 plus 1 plus 4 is equal to half of 6 is equal to 3. So all these questions are real paper questions, have been selected, picked from the questions already asked in previous years. So you can see, if you already know the concepts, it hardly takes 30 seconds to 1 minute. Now let's move. So for real ABC, that means ABC and are real numbers. If it is already told that a square plus b square plus c square is equal to ab plus bc plus ca, then we are asked to find the value of a plus c by b. Now see how easy it will become if you already know this concept. Which concept? You see, you will understand which concept is to be applied here. See what is given: a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca is equal to 0. This is given. So if this is given, so what is to be concluded? This is another way of saying that a is equal to b is equal to c. And now based on this fact, you have to calculate the value of a plus c by b. Now you know, once you know that a is equal to b is equal to c, how easy this becomes? This can be written as a plus a by a, because a is equal to b is equal to c, so is equal to 2. So you see, 2 is the final answer. So if you realize something, if you are done with the concept, if you are thorough with the concept, if you can recall the concepts, algebra is nothing but application of concepts. Okay, so I would again suggest again and again that you need to expose yourself to more and more number of questions. So let's do. So again a same year, x square plus y square plus z square minus xy minus yz minus zx is equal to 0. So this is another way to convey to you that please be alarmed, please be assured that x is equal to y is equal to z. So if you know this, then you can easily find out the value of this. This is what you have to find. So let's solve this. So knowing that x can be considered equal to y, which also can be considered equal to z, what can be written about this? It can be written that 4x plus 2x minus 3x, because y is also equal to x, z is also equal to x, divided by 2x. So this is 3x upon 2x, comes out to be equal to 3 by 2. See how easy it becomes, provided you know the concepts. So now we will move to the next concept,